And we're back. Here we go. Chapter 3 Maps.
時間の止まった私。
Only increasing my knowledge, simply increasing the number of meaningless values, simply desiring only information from the television screen. Eventually, the real grew faded, turned hollow.
でも、地図を見るのは好きだった。
Cars, trains, things that would take me places. I like them. Spreading maps upon the narrow bed. Tracing route after route. Tracing. Sedans, coupes, convertibles. I also rode on many different kinds of cars. The ever-continuing Route 1, I ran on and on upon it. Indigo blue sky and beautiful shoreline. I ran all the way to the places painted in my dreams, gently going around the curve traced by a cape, under the burning sunlight, dashing to the brilliant white beach. If I just closed my eyes, I could go anywhere. Scenery that I had never seen before would float before me as I thought about lands that I would never be able to go.
無意味にただ知識だけを増やした。虚しく憧れだけを募らせた。
A sky where the rain had let up. Flowing by at an amazing speed, high clouds. From the ground, the still damp asphalt gave a unique sha noise. In all that, as always, we continued driving on, without a destination, simply just driving on. It wasn't like we were headed to that Awajishima we had spoke about last night. For one thing, as a problem before that, we probably didn't have the gasoline money. While pondering about that, I continued driving straight along the unknown road. But where was this, I wonder? Suddenly, I wound up thinking about it. From the start, I wasn't all that good at geography, but all the place names were ones I had never seen before. I had been planning on driving onward in any case, but with the navigation system dead, I knew even less. Before I knew it, I was peering at the signs in the area while I drove. I don't really know.
何？
No, just wondering where this is. The girl spoke to me when I looked around, and I lightly replied. Well, most likely, even if I asked her, she wouldn't have known, probably.
入間よ。埼玉県の。
え？
次の交差点を右に行けば16号線。八王子へ出るわ。
You know? Did you live here before?
別に。そんなんじゃないわよ。
That was a surprise. No, instead of surprising, why she knew so much was mysterious. No matter how he looked, she didn't seem the type to get in a car and go around. Then maybe, from here to that place, Awajishima, you know the way?
質問の意味がわからない。
Well, you see, without getting on the expressway, we might be able to get there using only the smaller roads, right? Look, the gasoline costs, our money might be enough after all.
行きたいの？
No, it's not like I meant that, but...
じゃあ聞かないで。
With those final words, the girl once again fell silent. In her usual cold way, she remained staring out the window. I had the feeling that what those eyes were looking at was not the scenery flowing by before her, but a much further place. Those words, "Don't ask," from before. Just what did it mean, I wonder? If I had answered that I planned on going, what would she have answered? Without a destination, we simply traveled. From the start, we hadn't any plans or schedules. Simply, we just hated both the 7th floor and our shallow homes. But for me, at least just for me, it didn't matter what, I probably wanted something to give me direction. It's cold, isn't it?
そうね。
Some beach I didn't know the name of. When I noticed, we were headed out toward the sea. I had intended to head west, but it seemed at some point I wound up heading south. A beach with a pitch black sky and a strongly blowing cold wind. The two of us left the car and stood gazing at a dark sea. As always, the girl looked far away with a downcast air at where the black sky and sea merged at the horizon. And then, after watching the sea for a while, slowly she began walking to the water's edge.
ねえ、どうなると思う？
I don't understand the meaning of your question.
楽に死ねると思う。このまま海に入っていくと。
Her back was still turned to me, words as she continued to walk to the water's edge. The turret time was the last. There is no fourth. Probably it would come to picking between the 7th floor and home. It seems no one has escaped that. Those were the words the girl had once passed to me. And the girl was on her second, had said that she wanted neither home nor the 7th floor. Already, it was after she had passed it to me. Already her task was over. That was why I thought it meant more. Who knows? I've never drowned before.
じゃあもしも今私が海に入っていったならあなた止める？
While speaking, she turned around and looked at my face, placing the moon floating in the pitch black sky to her back. The gaze that was always looking at some faraway place was looking straight at me. I don't know. Not until that time.
そうよね。
And then, turning her back to me, once again facing the sea, she slowly started walking. Hey, you.
何？
Is it that you want me to stop you? At my words, the girl stopped just a few steps before the breaking waves. A strong wind misted up the spray from the waves, striking her feet. If you want me to stop you, I'll stop you.
別にそんなんじゃないわよ。
Then I don't have to stop you, right? For that question also, there was no reply. However, the feet that stopped did not go further. That was why I thought that was her reply. A high, high sky that could only be found in winter. Stained heart-wrenchingly blue, with a strong wind that whistled across the elevated rail line. Reflecting that blue sky was the metallic hood of the running silver coupe. I was gripping the steering wheel and the girl sat in her usual way in the passenger seat. Where this was, I didn't know, but as a more real problem, in moments, we were going to run out of gasoline. From the start, we hadn't had that much money, but from purchases at convenience stores, our remaining funds were even less now. Now there was only 7,000 yen. Of course, for this car, I didn't know how many liters it took, but I thought we probably had enough to fill the tank once. It wasn't as if we had a destination or anything, but losing our legs would mean we would be stuck. I'll go get some gas.
そう。
While speaking, I turned the wheel and headed toward the gas station in front of us. Welcome. Will it be credit card or cash? With cash. Will it be regular or high octane? Regular? High octane? I didn't really understand. Of course, when it came to this car, there were lots of things that I didn't know. But since I had only just gotten my license, I knew very little about this sort of thing in general. Which shall it be? I hesitated to speak while the part-time clerk waited for my answer from the other side of the window. And just when I was about to say it didn't matter, the girl in the passenger seat spoke.
レギュラーよ。
Eh? Ah, yes, regular. Yes, regular, cash, full tank. Will that be alright? Yes, please. Yes, certainly. With a cheerful reply, the attendant began to skillfully use the gasoline pump. From the window open about 10 centimeters came the distasteful smell of gasoline. Say, regular is fine for this? At the question, the girl remained silent. Instead, she quietly pointed at a price listing on the pump. Ah, of course, this was a cheaper one. I didn't really know much about this, but I didn't think there was that much difference. And then, there was the meter on the gas pump before my eyes reporting the amount used. 25, 26, 27, 28. That digital display was counting up ferociously. Did I screw up? Looking at those numbers, I began to get nervous. Just before, I had wound up saying full tank on a whim, but the amount of money we had on hand wasn't all that much. Putting together all the change, it was about 7,000 yen. Of course, I had no idea how large this car's tank was. If there wasn't enough money, what would happen? Going by the price list shown, I believe we had enough for about 60 liters, but 38, 39, 40, 41. Even now, the meter was counting up without slowing down. Under normal conditions, it would have been something I wouldn't have worried about, but as I continued watching, I grew more and more nervous. Damn it, it's still going? Before I knew it, the words tumbled out.
大丈夫よ。もう止まるわ。
Eh?
これ、50リッターだから。
Just as she said, when the meter was between 47 and 48, it stopped. Following that, the sound of a receipt being printed ran out, and once again, the part-time clerk came back. Sorry for the wait, it comes to 5,240 yen. Ah, here. From my pocket, I took out and handed over a 5,000 yen bill with a crumpled 1,000 yen bill. Here's your change of 760 yen and your receipt. Thank you very much. Putting the clerk's bright voice behind us, I once again pulled the car out into the road before us. Man, we're just forever driving on this one road. Once again, the silver coupe ran. With this, I felt the urgent fear of the gas tank to be gone for the moment. And our remaining funds was just about 2,000 yen. I was also worried about that, but I was also curious about what happened just before. Hey, are you... Could it be that you know a lot about cars?
別に。
Not particularly. Didn't you just say this was a 50 liter before? Of course, this much might just have been a guess or something that was common knowledge. However, previously, the girl also knew about the roads. Also nagged by that fact, I took out the car registration on the dashboard. You would of course know this car's name, right?
それは質問。
Well, you can think of it as a quiz.
インテグラ、タイプ R、クーペ。
That's correct. And the specs?
99年式、5速ミッション。最高出力、200馬力。
I hadn't thought that she would really answer. My eyes couldn't help but follow the words on the registration in my hand as the girl flatly continued speaking.
全長4380、全幅1695、総排気量 1797cc。 まだ言うの？
No, that's enough. Correct. As I replied, I returned the registration to its place. Unbelievably, all the specs were exactly as recorded. It was very much something that I didn't think could be memorized. If I asked why someone would, I couldn't begin to imagine. But right before my eyes, this girl answered. Moreover, considering the rose and flowers from before, I could believe that she knew about a wide variety of things. Hey, why do you know so much?
別にあなたより年上だからよ。
With just that answer, once again the girl fell silent. Gazing out the window, she didn't give off an air that she would answer any new questions I raised. Older. It really didn't look it, but those were also the girl's words from before. That's because we're in anime world. Name Setsumi, blood type O. Those were the words written on her white vital bracelet. And that she seemed to be older. That was the little information I knew of her. When the sun was slowly setting, the silver coupe continued running. Without a destination, without a place it needed to go to, just simply moving forward. The issue of gasoline was fine, but the remaining money had mostly disappeared. Even counting the change, it was about 2,000 yen. Thinking in terms of buying meals at convenience stores, it would last about 3 or 4 days. Really? 3 or 4 days for 2 people. 2,000 yen. Huh. Hey, what should we do from now on?
質問の意味がわからない。
I mean, we don't have much money left.
だから
And so, you... The girl was as she had always been. She spoke while bringing the nigiri just bought from the convenience store to her mouth. And also, just by continuing to drive like this, without a doubt, the gasoline was being used up. In reality, doing nothing, just standing still, might have been better. However, doing nothing, being unable to do anything, just staying still was painful. While thinking that, I kept driving. From previous experience, driving on the smaller roads, it was about just 3 days before the gasoline ran out. The remaining 2,000 yen used to buy food from the convenience store was also 3 to 4 days probably. Clearly, the end of things was coming into sight. Hey, you. That place, Awajishima, was it? You want to go there? There was no reply, just the usual gazing out the window as always. I might want to go a bit, maybe. Well, that's... Of course, from the start we hadn't dashed out of the 7th floor with goals for some plans. That was why for me, going west, east, or wherever it was, it didn't matter. I was sure any place would have been fine. I just wanted some goal or destination. When the day completely turned into night, I was in some pachinko parlor's parking lot. Of course, I wasn't planning on making money off pachinko or slots. With this measly 2,000, I knew I didn't stand a chance. However, if it were just 10 or 20,000 yen, it should be easy to steal that much. Life of crime on the road. That was, from my previous travels through pachinko parlors, my guess. With just that much, for the moment it would be fine, and from that, we might even be able to get to that Awajishima. That was why I spoke about my plan to the girl. How about it? Want to try?
いや
I see. Alright. It was what was expected, but I was plainly refused. From the start, it wasn't as if I was expecting anything from the girl. It wasn't as if I had sought out for help. Explaining my plans to her was more like a declaration. Well then, wait a bit. Leaving her in the car, I walked towards the pachinko parlor alone. Inside the unexpectedly crowded shop, there were a number of machines, ball dispensers, and a fair amount of people. Here and there were also a number of stacked cash boxes. right would be just right. Making that decision, I headed toward the slot corner that was my target. After a while, scouting from the aisles, from examining the area, I found one machine. Some middle-aged man who definitely looked like an office worker had stacked 4 boxes by his feet, and above his head had another 2 stacked. Moreover, it was a corner machine, and the neighboring machines were empty. From what I had seen from the floor, he also didn't seem to have come with friends or acquaintances. The conditions were lined up. Most likely in that state, even if one box by his feet was stolen, he wouldn't notice right away. If it was like similar shops, it should be worth some 20,000 yen. If we had just that. I simply waited intently for the office worker-like person to head to the restaurant. Eventually, about when 30 minutes had passed, finally the man stood up from his seat. Quickly following after, I went to the restroom to make sure. Then, in a rush, I quickly returned to the slot machine. Next, while checking the people who were playing the slots and the shop staff, I slowly approached the machine. Then, in order to avoid suspicion, acting perfectly natural, I pulled up a cash box at my feet. At that instant, a tremendous sound raised as the slot coins scattered on the floor. Pull it up was the plan. No, certainly I raised it up once with these hands. However, unable to support the weight, I wound up dropping the entire box on the floor. And then, all eyes looked over, wondering what caused the loud racket. I thought I heard the sound of voices, felt the presence of people running over. However, those voices were heard from behind me. Already, by that time, I was 2 meters in front of the shop exit. Starting the engine in a big rush, I slammed on the gas. Turning the wheel, I hardly pulled the car out. At that time, maybe because I had driven up onto a curb or something, just that moment, I wound up ramming the rear. That gari-gari sound was the nasty sound of the body scraping. However, there wasn't time to worry about that. I drove out onto the road in front of us. While rubbing my chest, which was almost out of breath, I drove the silver coupe along the now totally dark road. I was a bit worried about the spot that was hit before, but for now, getting away from that place had priority. Then, driving about 10 minutes, about when we were totally clear of the pachinko parlor, I stopped the car by some roadside and began inspecting the place that was hit earlier.
大丈夫?
It's probably nothing major. From the passenger seat, the girl called to me sounding just a tiny bit worried. While I inspected the damaged area, I answered. Looking at it, the rear bumper was slightly dented, and the muffler's tip was a bit cracked. With just this, it probably wouldn't be a problem driving. Feeling relief, I let out a sigh. So close. Immediately, I recalled the events in the pachinko parlor. I had failed with just a little bit more to go, but if I did it well, the next time I thought I could succeed. I figured that even though I hadn't been able to carry the cash box, that was only because I hadn't lifted heavy things in a while. If I were prepared from the start, I could probably manage.
勘違いしてるわね。
え？
今のあなたは以前のあなたとは違うはず。
The girl spoke words as if she were seeing clear through me. However, with a weight like
同
that,
じように考えない方がいい。
most likely what the girl was saying was right. I didn't want to admit it, but the me now was different from the me from before. Certainly, with my strength reduced by this much, it was hard to believe I would succeed. Then, what should I do? To that question, there came no answer. Just quiet gazing at the dark sky beyond the window. That probably was telling me to give up. Well, we're criminals. Tried stealing clothes, succeeded. Tried stealing cash, failed. Next time, we'll see if we steal some emeralds from the sea, I guess.